I grew up eating a very specific way because that's how my parents grew up when they were working on their farms from, sometimes sun up to sundown. Now, I didn't actually work on the farm, so this amount of eating was not good or healthy for me because I didn't need to burn that many calories. Now, I was very active, so I never really got heavy per se, but it did lead to ideas of how I should eat that were incorrect and unhealthy in my later life. I destroyed my back on a little independent film while I was taking horses to set. It was a Western. My back hit a rock on the ground, and it blew my L5-S1 disc to pieces. I had herniations on both sides, severe herniations on both sides. This started a downward spiral where I would injure my back. Whenever I would bend over, I would actually feel something squirt out of my discs. And of course then that was more of a herniation and more spinal fluid pressing up against the nerves. I was in horrible pain, and when I'm saying horrible, I'm talking a 9 or a 10 all the time. I couldn't hardly walk. I had to use a cane a lot of the time. I was eating fistfuls of Vicodin, which of course then backs you up intestinally, which puts more pressure on your low back, which makes the pain worse. It just was a horrible, horrible, horrible several years of my life. I put on about somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 pounds. I don't know what it actually was for sure because I was afraid to get on a scale. It was just an awful time. I met my wife in Las Vegas. She was a massage therapist. She worked on me a little bit while we were in Vegas, and when we were Skyping one day, after we had met right before I flew her out to Los Angeles, I was complaining that all of the exercises that the physical therapists were having me do didn't seem to help at all. They actually made things worse. And they were all strengthening exercises. Your back is weak. It has to be because you have a weak back. And my wife said to me, although she wasn't my wife at the time, Lindsay said, "Are you stretching?" And I said, "No, they didn't want me to do any stretches. They just wanted me to do strengthening exercises because I'm weak." And Lindsay said, "But you're not weak. I've worked on you. You are very muscular. In my opinion, what needs to happen is you need to stretch." So I started doing some stretches that she told me to do, which were hell, but I did them. And in about 2 weeks in, all of a sudden I started feeling release and things were getting better. But only better as to the pain went from a 9 or a 10 every day to the pain went to a 6 or a 7 every day. She moved in, and as we were living together, she decided that she wanted to go take this seminar on myofascial release. And I said, "Oh, okay." At the time, I was footing all the bills because I was the one that had the job. And I said, "Sure, here's the money for it. Go do it." So she went and did this weekend seminar, and she came back and said, "I want to do something to you for 5 minutes." And I said, "Well, I worked in Hollywood. I can do anything for 5 minutes." And she simply had me lay face up on the massage table. She put her right hand underneath my sacrum and her left hand underneath my lumbar, which looked something, as I steer with my knee, like this: sacrum, lumbar. And she just opened them up. Just that much. Actually, probably way less than that. And just waited with just this little bit of pressure on the small of my back. And about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, I was in agony. I said, I can't take it any longer. You have to stop. She said, "I'm feeling stuff move in your back. Just give me another 30 seconds, please." And I said, okay. About 15 seconds later, the pain vanished. I mean, it was gone from an 11 to a 0. I jumped up off the table. I wiggled my hips all over the room. I bent over. I did everything I could possibly think of to make my back hurt. And it wouldn't. And at that point is when I decided that I needed to go into body work to learn this specific modality to help people. Because as far as I was concerned, it was a miracle that she had done something simple, gentle, for 5 minutes that took my pain away. So I became a body worker, and I learned myofascial release, the John Barnes version, from John Barnes himself. And I started working and helping people, and I loved it. It was great. But I still weighed 240-ish pounds. And I remember as 40 years old came up, I had tried a lot of things. I tried counting my calories, which my wife makes a joke about 4 Snickers bars in one day. Well, yes, but it's just, well, it's within the calorie limit, and that's what I was doing. So, yes, calorically, I'm okay. I can eat 4 Snickers bars in one day, as long as I don't go over my calories somewhere else. I tried, the cutting out carbohydrates. I tried all of them. And nothing, I would have a change in my weight because I would do something different, but it would be minimal. It wasn't until I met Desiree Lake, who was an Arbonne consultant, who is now a regional vice president for Arbonne, and introduced her to my wife, and then past the time that my wife was resistant to doing Arbonne, that I hunkered down and did the 30-day clean eating challenge. I'm sorry, it's 28-day clean eating challenge. I did it for 3 cycles in a row. So for 3 months, for 12 weeks, I ate clean. I lost, if I remember correctly, 10 to 15 pounds in the first 2 months. And then the 3rd month, I lost 20 pounds because the Arbonne Clean Eating, to my mind, works on this is your biggest issue first. My biggest issue wasn't the weight. The weight was a side effect of the problems that I was really having internally. Things that were out of balance. My pH being way too acidic. It took 2 months to balance that all out, so in the 3rd month, the weight loss would happen. So that was my road to health. I now weigh just under 200 pounds, which of course fluctuates 5 pounds a day for almost every human being. So I've lost, I know that I have lost since we started keeping track, 35 pounds. I am guessing it is closer to 45 pounds, but I don't have any numbers to back it up for certain. I can't tell you how much more engaged my brain is. It's not like I'm just all the time. Now that I am balanced nutritionally, I can't say enough about what it did. The biggest thing, however, is, the old axiom about give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach him to fish, he eats for his life. The biggest thing is, when I go to a restaurant, I now know, without a doubt, this yes, this no. This maybe in small amounts can be eaten. So Arbonne was the final piece to me becoming healthy and happy with where my life is and what I am doing.